Recording is on. All right, Facebook, let's go for it. I see that I am here live. Perfect. And I can hear myself, so we are all good. All right, so this is day 2 of my training that I have been doing for service-based business owners in order to sell more in 2025. So today, I want you to just check in with yourself and see, where are you at on the spectrum? Are you a person who shows up on social media every day, markets yourself every day, but you're like stuck in the algorithm and trying to figure out the algorithm? Are you a person who gets stuck in thinking about what to post? I don't know what to post. There's not enough people following me. They're not going to think I'm an expert. So that you maybe show up like once or twice a week. Are you a person who says, I hate social media? Are you a person who thinks somehow you're not good enough or you're afraid of people telling you that you're too expensive? Just check in with yourself today and let me know where you're at. There's no shame here at all, but I want you to know we're going to touch on a couple things. We're going to touch on why you may not be signing clients, and it has nothing to do with being a perfect marketer. It has nothing to do with the algorithm and getting the messaging right. It actually has nothing to do with the economy. So I'm going to solve this for you today in today's training, which is all about the real reason you're not signing clients and it's not exactly what you think. So my name is Cami. If it's your first time here, I am a life and business coach. And I coach my clients on their underlying, like this is the underlying feeling of every human being. It's the underlying feeling of not feeling good enough. And so now you go and start a business. This story is going to come up even more in your mind, and you're going to feel not good enough, unworthy. Your perfectionism is going to kick in, your imposter syndrome is going to kick in. And this is totally normal. It's totally fine. So if you're here and you're like, I don't feel confident, I don't feel certain, or if you're here, you've been doing business for a while, but you're feeling frustrated in not making the sales you want to make, then this is going to be for you. I have built a 6-figure coaching and training business. I've sold packages from $1,000 up to $20,000. And there's a lot of mindset and a lot of strategy that goes into selling and marketing yourself. But this is not just about strategy. Okay. I love talking about strategy. Strategy is important, but there are so many strategies that you can use. We really want to shift deeper today. So take a deep breath, actually be present with me on this training, because I promise you, if you show up for this training and you listen and you feel into it, what the words I'm actually saying, and you self-reflect, you are going to get something from this training that you can apply today. And I want you to leave this training with the thought, I could sign a client today. Of course you can. Of course you could sign a client today, but there's some things that we need to start working through. So here's the number one thing that I think gets in the way. Most people are seeking out a strategy. They're looking for the perfect way to manipulate the algorithm on Instagram. They're looking to be a content creator, right? They're saying, "Oh, I need to use hashtags. I need to content create. I need to create some type of entertaining content. I really need to be like the number one performer on the internet in order to build an audience, in order to have people like what I have to offer." You also might be thinking like, I need to be professional. I need to look more professional. I need to have better lighting, better video. I need to have a better website. So this whole thing about like setting up shop and like feeling like it needs to be perfect, that is something I see a lot of people getting stuck in this strategy of trying to figure out the social media algorithm. And in doing so, when you are trying to figure out the algorithm, you're trying to figure out how to manipulate the algorithm, how to get more engagement, you're stepping out of the most important thing that causes magnetism, which is just you being you showing up and offering value. I also see people getting stuck in trying to fix their niche. So niche is, who do you help? Who do you serve? Or they spend a lot of time with your ideal client, your archetype, your branding. Who do I serve? How do I help them? You spend a lot of time trying to figure out your elevator pitch. All of this is rooted in perfectionism. And all of this is rooted in the underlying belief that I'm inherently not good enough, so I better get this pitch perfect. I better get my 30-second elevator pitch perfect so that people respect me, so that people like me, so that people want to work with me. So you're spending so much time trying to rewrite this, practice it, make it perfect, have like this perfect one-liner. And the problem with this is when you're doing this, it's very awkward for you and for your audience, like for the people that you're engaging with and you're interacting with. So instead of spending time like fixing your niche, spending days, hours acting like ChatGPT is your life coach, just a hint, ChatGPT is not your life coach and it is not going to be able to figure out your messaging. You, as a human being, need to do the work to figure out your messaging. And here's why. Now, listen, I use ChatGPT. I used it to prep the script for this today. I used it to prep the outline today to help give me some bullet points. But notice that ChatGPT did not give me the knowledge. I have 10 years of knowledge in the entrepreneur online space, in the industry, making six figures. I put in the sweat equity, the mindset work, the marketing work, showing up for myself, investing in myself. I invested $35,000 in masterminds in the past 2 years. So remember, this is the key thing I want you to take away from this training. Your business will only grow to the amount that you grow yourself. I'm going to say this again. Your business will only grow to the amount that you grow yourself. This is your internal work, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you show up. So we need to clean this up, and I'm going to teach you how to do this on today's training so that you're not feeling stuck and frustrated and hiding, right? You're thinking nobody online is watching you, or you're in a networking event and you feel very uncomfortable. We want to solve all of that today. Because here's the thing, if you just have a strategy and you're trying to get it right, but you don't have clarity, right, from your own heart, from your own brain, then that's not going to lead to confidence. That's not going to lead to consistency. And that's what we need. We need clarity, we need confidence, and consistency. And in the beginning, we just need to get you more consistent. So if you're here with me live right now, you let me know, how often are you showing up online? Is it one time a week? Is it 3 times a week? Is it 5 times a week? Tell me in the comments so that I can know how to help you today, because we don't want to feel like we need to be online marketing every single day of our life, right? We want to have a life. We want to live a life. But we do want to build more consistency. If you want more money, if you want more clients, then you will need to step into more consistency and offering more value for your people. So think about it this way. One of the things that's really blocking you is this inherent imposter syndrome. All of my clients come to me with this thought: I have imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome is feeling like you're not an expert, you're not well educated, you're not experienced enough. There's other people out there that are better than you. Maybe you even feel impostery with the way you look, with the way you feel, and it gets in the way of your visibility, right? So you got to think about it. In order to sign more clients, marketing is the vehicle that says, hello, I can help you, work with me. Marketing is the number one thing. You need to be consistent with it. And if you're feeling like you're good enough, you're not going to be able to be visible. And if you're not going to be able to be visible, then you will not have clients coming to you, because just imagine they're searching for someone. They're going to go search for your industry, and they are going to find the person who has been the most consistent and most visible, because in their mind, in their psychology, that is the one who can definitely help them. They're showing up, they're taking themselves seriously, they're taking their business seriously. And that's going to build trust for your clients. So the way that you get over imposter syndrome is by realizing it's coming with you. That is, as soon as you decided to open a business, that is the deal. You and imposter syndrome are going to be holding hands together, and you're going to be living the dream as you build your business to six figures and beyond. So what I want you to do is immediately today, stop comparing yourself to others. If there are other people in your industry that you're comparing yourself to, go and unfollow their pages. You do not need to be taking that in. Also, if you're getting a lot of ads delivered to you that says things that are making you feel bad about your business, like, oh, finally figure out the algorithm, you need to go viral, how to sign more clients today, you're doing it wrong. If you have any of that messaging coming through your feed, block, delete, cancel, clear, ignore, because you want to only be putting positive things in your brain each day so that you can tap into your confidence and your certainty so that you can continue to show up. So now let's talk about the next thing. And you tell me in the chat especially if you're watching the replay, play along, replay audience. I know a lot of people will be watching the replay, so play along, type in the chat, do you experience imposter syndrome? And then if you want, you can just tell me what that imposter syndrome feels like or sounds like in your head. And that'll let me know how to help and support you more. So the number two thing that comes up is perfectionism. Okay. So perfectionism is waiting until something is perfect. So you're trying to get it perfect before you launch it, before you post it, before you sell. So then it never happens. And this is what I see with people who are trying to post on social media. I literally was running between a networking event and a nail appointment. And I had 5 minutes, and I probably had 7 minutes in between my networking event and my nail appointment. And I literally whipped up an entire post with an entire caption with like 7 slides and posted it in 7 minutes. But the reason why is because I decided to get started 10 years ago before I knew what the hell I was doing. And I decided to practice and just say it's good enough and just post it. And as I began to do that over and over again with so much consistency, I got so good at it. And the way I got good at it was by just saying, hey, people need this and I would like to make money. People need this and I would like to make money. It is both, right? If you have a business, a definition of a business is that it's generating revenue, right? If it's not generating revenue, you have a hobby. So we want to start generating revenue, which means we need to step out of perfectionism. So instead of over editing your post, over editing yourself, overthinking what you're going to post, just post it, because the more you're spending time doing that, it means you're under earning. And I remember I had a specific client who she took hours. It took her like an hour just to come up with a post. And it took her, she would actually type out a script, put the script on a teleprompter, read the teleprompter because she was not confident in what she was saying. And I told her, I'm like, think about all the time and energy you're using. And then think about, yes, maybe it comes off more polished. Maybe it comes off, you think, as more perfect over the camera. But what we know is number one, you're not going to be able to be consistent if it takes you hours and hours to post one thing each day. Number two, there's an underlying sense of uncertainty. And whenever you are selling anything, Zig Ziglar says, selling is just a transfer of emotion. People use emotion, right? We always say that 90% of our communication is actually in the subconscious, it's in the energetic field, it's in the body. And so you might be trying to produce something perfect and scripted, but the people on the other end of the receiving of it are going to know that you're feeling anxious, you're feeling uncertain about it. And anytime we're feeling anxious and uncertain about what we offer, or we think it's not good enough, or we think we don't show up on camera correctly, or we think that's a bad angle, or we don't know how to write, what happens is people pick up on that energy. They pick up on the fact that you're over editing, overthinking. And the worst thing is like you post something and then you delete it. No, we need to think about your marketing as a puzzle. So instead of thinking about this one post needs to do the thing for me, needs to sign me the client, you think about all of the puzzle pieces that you put together over 3 months, 6 month, 9 month period. And all of those puzzle pieces, all of those touch points build the know, like, and trust factor. And when people feel like they know you, right, they know enough about you, they like you, and they trust you, and they know that you can help them because you've offered them value ahead of time, they will reach out. So you have to be thinking of the long-term strategy. I need to show up consistently for a consistent period of time in order to have clients reaching out to me. And if you don't get started today, then you're not going to be able to build up all of that value, build up all of those puzzle pieces over time. So do not wait for perfectionism. Get started right now. Literally post something today. The next thing that gets in the way is your fear of being seen. We know that public speaking is one of the number one fears, and it is because human beings are afraid of being judged, right? You're being afraid of being judged, misunderstood, or like you're too much, or you fumble over your words. What if I make some mistakes? And so in order to protect yourself, instead of going out there and just saying, F it, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to just sell myself, sell my services, offer value, let people know I can help them. You keep yourself invisible. You keep yourself hidden, either behind a computer screen, in your Canva, making your perfect little templates, or you hide yourself in your house, not knowing what to do, And the thing that you need to get over is finding out what these subconscious blocks are, right? Subconscious resistance says, I'm not safe. I can't be visible. People will judge me. What if, what if, what if, what if? And so this is some of the deeper work that we need to do in order to, if you want to make six figures, you'll need to do this. If you want to make multiple six figures, you'll need to do it again and again and again. If you want to get to 1 million, you'll need to do it again and again. At that point, you're going to need to start hiring and firing people, right? Building a team, allowing people to be wrong about you. So what I would say about this is think about what would happen if you just didn't build a business, didn't live your dream, didn't help anyone because of your fear of being seen. Just think about that outcome. I let my fear get in the way of me building the life and business and bank account that I want. I always go to feeling regret. I never want to do that. So I always want to challenge my subconscious and say, okay, I see that you're feeling not safe and I love you. I'll hold space for you. We'll be okay. And all this is you developing the resiliency and capacity to feel embarrassed, to feel fear, to feel anxious, to feel like you have like literal shaky knees, literally feeling like you don't know what to say next. And when you build this sense of self-trust, people will be coming out of the woodwork because clients are always looking for the most certain person in the room. If they are going to hire you to work on their house, like maybe you're an interior designer, to work on their house, they want to know that you can deliver. And the way for them to know that you can deliver is the way that you show up for yourself. And this works even if you're shy. I work with a lot of clients who are shy, they're soft-spoken, they're more creative, they're not necessarily extroverts. So what we do in that sense is we find out what your skill is. Are you good at writing? Are you good at art? And then we use that to market your business. So don't tell yourself that it's just not for you. Don't tell yourself that you're just not the right person for this. Show up as who you want to be because all of this is a skill that you can learn. All right. And then the last point. This is very similar to fear of being seen, but I want you to think of it this way. Your lack of confidence equals your lack of consistency, which equals your lack of cash flow. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Your lack of confidence equals your lack of consistency equals your lack of cash flow. So we have three components to this equation. And I want you to realize you can actually start at any of these three components, depending on where you are, depending on what works for you. For me, and what I do for my clients is I give them this money archetypes quiz. When you know your money archetype, you know what you're motivated by. Some of my clients are highly motivated by money, and that is okay. So if you're highly motivated by money, I want you to think about it. Okay, I want to make 10K. And if I want to make 10K, I'm going to build confidence as I take action. I'm going to set myself up for a challenge, whatever it is, posting every day for 30 days or posting 5 days a week or making a reel every day, whatever it is, because we know it's just a numbers game. So if you are monetarily driven, first of all, it's okay. It is okay for you to want money for yourself. It's okay to want to get paid because inherently you're getting paid for helping other people. The only way to make money is by offering a valuable service to human beings. So do not feel afraid of somehow manipulating somebody to pay you. If you're good at what you do and you know you can deliver, then of course people are going to want to pay you. And if you're not feeling good at what you do or you want to get better, then you still want to show up and work with more people to get more experience so that you can get better. So now let's address lack of confidence. So there's two ways to address lack of confidence. The first way is to think of, what do I tell myself repeatedly? All of us have this negative tape that goes on in our head. I'm too fat, I'm too short, I'm too old, I don't speak well enough, I'm not educated enough, like whatever that tape is in your head. It's just repetitive, it's ongoing, it's very familiar because it's just like the background noise. So the first way to address lack of confidence is to actually internally address it. How do I want to start thinking and feeling about myself? Where can I go back in my life to say, wow, I'm really proud of what I did here. I remember the time I did this. I remember the time I went to college and I finished with a high GPA. I remember that time where I worked two jobs. I remember that time where I achieved this thing. So you go back and actually find moments in your life that can develop confidence for you now. You might be starting a business now and it might feel new, but if you look back at all the new things you did that you're now really good at one point in time, you did not know how to walk, and you are such a persistent genius that as a small child, you learned how to walk, and now you're walking every day and you're not even thinking about it. So you can build your confidence by choosing what to think on purpose. But the other way you build your confidence is by just showing up consistently. So you can set a target for yourself and say, hey, I want to start showing up 3 days a week on social media, at networking events, like whatever the target is for you. I want to be consistent because as I build the consistency, I build confidence. I build self-trust in my ability to show up for myself, for my clients, and for my business. Because remember, when you don't trust yourself and you don't trust your message, you're going to show up inconsistently. The only way to build the self-trust is to say, I'm going to show up, and then you follow through and you do the thing. And you're saying, oh, I trust myself to grow this business because I trust myself to show up for myself. And then if you don't trust your message, the secret is not to just like look it up or go to ChatGPT and try to find a perfect way to say it. The way to trust it is to say it thousands of different ways, millions of times, right? You've heard of that 10,000 hours. I think it's from the book Outliers. When you put 10,000 hours in, you become an expert, but you have to show up and say it thousands of different ways so that you feel confident about it. So you actually have to practice it. I always say it's not about being perfect. It's about practicing your potential. So if you want to have a six-figure business, you want to start practicing what that could feel like. If you want to get paid 8K, 10K months, you have to start practicing what would that person do? How would they think? How would they feel? How would they show up? What would they say? How would they offer their services? And you start practicing that knowing that you're going to wobble and fall off and mess up because that's part of the process of practicing and that's okay. So remember, if you're in a situation where you have not been consistent, I do not want you to beat yourself up. This is one of the biggest challenges early on in business, so it's okay. This was my biggest challenge early on in business. So what I chose is I chose a value, and the value is this. Instead of choosing the value of consistency, I chose showing up even when I don't feel like it. And because I chose that as a value, I knew my human brain every day would not want to do it. But I decided I want to have the life and business that I desire. I want to build a six-figure business. I want to build $1 million business just because I can and because of the person I'm becoming. That's what's in it for me. And then on the flip side, what's in it for the rest of the world is I write books, I create content. The genius inside my brain comes out into the world and it gives the world value. And whatever industry you're in, whether it's health coaching, fitness coaching, interior design, personal organizing, maybe you are a consultant with other businesses. You help to solve their problems in their business. Maybe you're a speaker. When you decide to go after your revenue goals, your business goals, you will create more value. You will create more consistency. You will tell more stories. You will create more messaging. And what it'll do will fulfill your life because you're literally living in your purpose. And it will build this trust with your audience. So if you have not been showing up consistently, I want you to set an intention right now. Why do you want to start showing up? What's in it for you, right? Monetarily, what's in it for you? Who will you become? And then what's in it for your audience? What's in it for your clients? How will they benefit when you show up more? Okay. So think about these things because these are the foundations that will change your business, period. And I know it's actually very simple, but you have to be willing to show up for these things. I think most people, what smacks them in the face when they start a business is they are not prepared to have all these emotions, all these mindset issues. They're like, no, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I'm like, yeah, if business worked like that, then the stats wouldn't be what they were, right? We know that 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying the 5% of people who succeed are invested in doing the inner work, the mindset work, developing an abundance mindset, developing confidence, self-trust, focusing every day on showing up as the potential self, the version that they want to be. Because listen, when you work on this stuff, then you learn how to feel grounded in your message, right? Whatever you say, you just feel like, yep, of course, I'm certain I know what I'm saying. Because then everything becomes easier. Your content that you're creating, your marketing comes quickly. You show up regular because it feels like just who you are. Then selling starts to feel natural for you and aligned. You're just having sales conversations all the time. Of course you are, because you're the person that people are seeking out because you're the one that has the certainty. And remember that your confidence comes from taking the aligned action over and over again. Then what's going to happen is you're going to have fear, embarrassment, disappointment, rejection come up. All of it's going to come up. Of course it is. But when you know how to process fear, not avoid it, feel the feelings, move through it, refocus, recenter, then you know that you actually don't have to be perfect. It's never about being perfect. It's never about finding the right messaging, the right words, the right content, the right pitch. It's more about accessing this internal state of power. An internal state of power comes from your thoughts, your focus, the way you move the body, the way you hold yourself, the way you speak, and all of this can be practiced. All of this can be taught. I promise you. When people see me speaking now, they think I speak so well. And what I tell them is I was speaking, well, let's say this. I've been speaking since 10th grade when I signed up for this class called Seminar in Science. And I went and investigated neuroscience topics, really nerdy stuff. I was just very interested in it. I did one on phenotypic plasticity. I did one on neurogenesis. And I just wanted to develop the skill of speaking. And I remember in 10th grade, right? So I think I was probably like 16. I would have shaky knees. I would be nervous. At that point, I didn't know how to fluctuate my voice. So I'd be very monotone. The audience looked deadpan, like they weren't listening. But since then, since I started my business, I just started going on lives all the time to an audience that sometimes wasn't even there. I started listening to podcasts, to other people, the way they spoke. I dedicated myself to becoming a clear, confident speaker. And the reason why is because I told myself, I'm smart. I can figure this out. I know how to practice something. And so can you. Even if you're an introvert, even if you're soft-spoken, you can become a great speaker. You can become a great content creator by just aligning with who you truly are without trying to be like somebody else. So here's what I want to invite you to consider. Right now, we're doing all of this work together inside of my mastermind called Abundant Business Mini Mastermind. It's an 8-week container for women, service-based entrepreneurs who want to learn how to master your messaging, right? So that's the words that you say to people. What do I do? How do I help you? We want to create a magnetic message so that people reach out to you. Next, you want to learn how to market yourself in a soulful way, in a way that feels aligned to you. It doesn't feel salesy. It doesn't feel weird. It just feels easy. It feels aligned, and it feels like you are shining through in your marketing. You do not have to be perfect as you do this. And then we learn how to confidently sell, right? You have sales conversations. You actually have a conversation with somebody to say, hey, I can help you. Here's the price. We learn how to talk about the price. You learn how to show up consistently, and you learn how to experience that awkward period of rejection. That's what's going to happen if you want to have a business, especially if you want a 6-figure business. You will experience rejection, period. I'll tell you, it is so worth it, because the only way we develop resiliency is by going through uncomfortable emotions. And when you go through uncomfortable emotions, you become courageous, resilient, dedicated, focused. And then nothing can actually stop you. Nothing can actually slow you down. So think about who you want to become in your business, getting really clear through this imposter syndrome, through the perfectionism, learning really practical sales and content tools, And then through the coaching that we do inside the mastermind, you get weekly support to build your consistency, right? Because a lot of times, if you don't have a boss, you're your own boss, it's easy to get away with not showing up. When you are in a mastermind with other women who are empowering, who are supporting you, who you're showing up for, and you're showing up for yourself, you have a coach who can give you really clear, practical tools. It helps you build consistency. And it also gives you a safe space to be seen. I think this is really important because a lot of us have visibility issues, especially as women. But when you are on a small mastermind container, you feel safe to be seen. And inside that container, we start to practice your messaging. You get to practice within a safe container. You get to say, this is how I help people. This is what I say. This is the problem I solve. And we practice it over and over again inside the mastermind. So if you are wanting to get over these things, if you're wanting to become more consistent, if you're wanting to make more sales, then I invite you to apply for this mastermind. The link is in the description of this video. And if you're watching this in real time, if you apply before April 26, 2025, then you will also get a bonus one-on-one coaching call. So on that bonus one-on-one call, we can do a social media audit. We can do a messaging audit. We can take a look at your brand. We can talk about your specific version of imposter syndrome or perfectionism, and we can solve that on the one-on-one call. Then we dive into the 8 weeks of coaching together. Because listen, you don't need more courses. You don't need to figure out how to nail Instagram. You don't need to study the algorithm because you are not a content creator. Content creators are something different. You are a business that wants to make sales. So we want to stop making content. We want to stop doing things just to engage the algorithm. And we want to start engaging real human beings to reach out to us, to have conversations with us, to say, I want to buy your thing. That's what we want to do. And I'm telling you this to say, I did not have a huge audience. I only have about 3,000 followers on Instagram. I've built a 6,000 or a six-figure business, $100,000 business, having a small audience because I stopped worrying about the algorithm. I learned these things that I'm teaching you in this mastermind, and it's something that's going to change your business forever. So you want to click the link right now. The 8-week program starts on May 15th, 2025. So get your application in this week. I'll actually show you what the application looks like right now so you can get a sense for it. It's right here. All right, so this is an overview of the mastermind, what we go through. So week 1 is taking yourself seriously, stepping into CEO energy. We also always have a spiritual practice because energy is everything. And if you're constantly anxious all the time, your clients will feel it. They'll be like, what is going on with this person? I don't trust them. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that we need to manage your anxiety about your business. So we'll do some money mindset journaling, tapping into the future version of you. Then we work on week 2, connecting into your clients deeply, right? Really understanding their problem, being able to communicate the problem very clearly so that they know you are the person who can solve it for them. Then we move on to social media made easy. So organic marketing is something that's not paid. So I teach organic marketing, creating connections, creating clients without having to do paid ads. So we want to make it simple. We want to make it repeatable, make it fun, and set up a weekly plan for you that is your marketing plan. During this week, we'll also do some breath work. Breath work is an amazing modality that I teach to help release fear, the fear of being seen, the fear of failing. Then we move on to mastering your messaging, right? Really important. We got to decide what is it that you offer very clearly, needs to be clear. And if you ever notice, if you go into ChatGPT, it's never clear. It's always like, so let's say you're an interior designer. It'll be like, I facilitate gorgeous, luxurious homes where you will feel the most luscious in an environment of peace and joy. And if you're an interior designer, you want to say, hey, do you got a bunch of kids? Your house is too small. I know how to help you maximize space in your tiny home. That would be something that would make more sense, okay? So we help you with clarifying your message. You get to practice in a safe space within their mastermind, and I help you as your coach to develop this. We practice it, we go out there, and we do it again. Also, we're going to work on our journaling practice to continue to get clarity because it's something you always work on. Then we go to that organic marketing, the free and aligned. So choosing what's right for you. Live video. Are you going to do conversations? Are you going to do collaborations, networking? We're going to map out a plan that's specific for you and your personality. Even if you're an introvert, this works. I just was coaching an introvert client this week. I told her, hey, this is the way to do networking. And I told her exactly how to do networking in person because I was like, if you do it any other way, you're going to drain yourself. You're going to burn out. So I said, specifically do it like this. And she said, thank you so much. All right. So we're always going to have some guided visualizations to call in those ideal clients. Then on week 6 and 7, we're going to talk about sales psychology that converts. So we actually need to talk about buying behavior. Why do people, how do they make decisions? What helps them make a decision, right? And always, we're going to be in integrity and connection and empathy while we're selling, but we're also going to stay out of people's pockets. We're going to stay out of fear. We're going to stay out of scarcity. And I'll teach you my panic to purpose process of that to help you with your anxiety around money. And here's the thing. You want to understand clients, love on them, but you also want to be able to overcome objections with love. Because if they're telling you they want something, you want to help them understand why they don't have it yet. So I'll teach you how to overcome the objections of I can't afford it, I need to think about it, I don't know. And so we really need to have more sales conversations from a place of service, not from a place of pressure. And this will always have clients referring you and have people sending more clients to you and more traction to you as well. All right, I'll tell you what to do before you get on sales calls. And then finally, by week 8, we will celebrate. There's so much that we can get done in just 8 weeks. We will celebrate. We will recap everything we learned. You will walk out feeling confident. You will have overcome that imposter syndrome. You will show way more in your marketing than you've ever done before. You will have a spiritual practice that allows you to tap into certainty. And this will create more clients, more income in a way that feels not hustly. It's not going to lead you to burnout, in a way that feels really aligned to you. So here's what I want you to do. Click on the link right now to apply. It's going to pull up this Google form, and it is going to show you the Abundant Business Mini Mastermind. I'll ask you a few questions. Why are you applying for the group? What is it that you need most help with? What's your current challenge? It's going to ask you about your current revenue, what your revenue goal is for this year, and then the investment options will be there as well. Once I receive this from you, you will get an answer on whether you're accepted within 24 hours. You'll get the next steps coming to your email. And I'm looking forward to having all these amazing women together in one container, because when you do this together, you don't feel so alone. When you do this together, you get to hype each other up and you get to witness each other in your brilliance. I promise you, you are brilliant. There are people out there that want what you have to offer. And there's somebody out there who wants to pay you today, who wants to work with you today. You have to believe this so that you can create certainty, so that you can create consistency, so you can create content, so you can create clients. And that is what we do inside of the Abundant Business Mini Mastermind. So go ahead and get your application in right now. Do not wait. It only takes 5 minutes to apply. You want to apply before April 26th because you get a bonus one-on-one coaching call with me. So I'll see you inside the mastermind. I look forward to seeing your application coming in and booking in your first one-on-one call. I will see you all tomorrow.